What is the official definition of the baseball strike zone? Imagine standing at the plate, ready to swing, and knowing exactly where the umpire will call a strike. That's what controlling the strike zone is all about. The official definition of the baseball strike zone is the area over home plate from the midpoint between the top of the batter's shoulders and the top of their uniform pants when they are in their stance and ready to swing. It extends down to just below the kneecap. For a pitch to be called a strike, some part of the ball must cross over some part of home plate while passing through this vertical space. The width of this zone is always the width of home plate, which is 17 inches. This means the strike zone isn't a fixed box. It adjusts based on each batter's height and stance. Taller players have a higher upper limit, while shorter players have a lower one. The umpire judges the zone at the moment the batter is ready to swing, so if they crouch or stand differently, the umpire uses what would be their normal stance. Over the years, the strike zone has changed. From 1969 to 1987, it was from the batter's armpits to the top of their knees. Between 1988 and 1995, it was from the midpoint between the shoulders and the top of the uniform pants down to the top of the knees. Since 1996, the bottom of the zone was lowered to just below the kneecap. These changes have impacted pitching and hitting stats across different eras. Pitchers aim to throw pitches that pass through this zone, making it easier to strike out batters or induce weak contact. Batters try to avoid swinging at pitches outside it. The ability to control the strike zone, throwing strikes as a pitcher or laying off balls as a hitter, is a key skill. This skill is reflected in stats like strikeout rate, which shows how often a pitcher gets batters out without the ball being put in play, and walk rate, which shows how often a batter reaches base without hitting the ball by drawing a walk. Advanced stats now track how often pitchers hit the edges of the zone or how often hitters swing at pitches outside it. These numbers help evaluate how well players perform beyond traditional stats. For example, a pitcher with a high strikeout rate and low walk rate is generally more effective. A hitter with a low strikeout rate and high walk rate usually shows good discipline at the plate. Changes to the strike zone over time have influenced these metrics, making it harder to compare players from different eras directly. Umpires play a big role because their judgment determines if a pitch is a strike or a ball. Even with modern pitch tracking technology, the human element remains, adding some variability to how the strike zone is called from game to game. In summary, the strike zone is a dynamic, batter-specific area over home plate, defined by rules but interpreted by umpires. Its size and enforcement shape the strategies and stats of pitchers and hitters, making it a central part of understanding baseball performance across different periods.